called Beg's Dull. I don't write about anything, it's not about anything, so if you don't get it, you're not listening. It starts with an epigraph from Confucius. If we treat the dead as if they were wholly dead, it shows want of affection. If we treat them as though they were wholly alive, that shows want of sense. Neither should be done. Dull, fray, down. A self-contempt that was all down, all of it. Down, dull. This was not a loss. Most of us went down, went out of our way to incur, render, contempt, obtuse, dull, begs, bells, frail. A classification of the causes of death in London, according to Dr. Heberden's bill from 1657. Flux and smallpox, 835. Found dead in the streets, etc., 9. French pox, 25. Gout, 8. Grief, 10. Griping and plague in the guts, 446. Hanged and made away themselves, 24. What were the symptoms of death by grief? Did the impetus to record causes extend to recording distinctions between them? Between those of grief that kills others and of suicide through grief? What could not be grieved? Divert your eyes, Daddy. To the wooden bridge, then to the bay, then to the road, to the mountains, then back to the bay, Dolly's Prospect, Vernon's Sand, every grain, a reckoning to diversion. In the 5 months since Marcella died, Alan has chronicled his route from 2 places so acutely miswritten they might as well not exist. Can't bear, obtuse. But therein lies the truth of the whole problem. He's not evil, he's just dumb, he can't help it. Marcella's ashes were scattered at Dollymount. Looking back, it seems more dissipative than those there would have wished, despite Anne's best efforts. I visited on New Year's Eve and imagined sharing the last light of the year with her dust. There was a Henry Cow concert on the radio and an elderly couple had told me I needed a heavier coat for the cold weather. Did you ever skim stones in the water? Why not? Tell me, was this to do with your mother? North Dublin, mollusk, death and life, assemblages, proxies for incurred losses, robust synthesis, not find what you're yearning for here, no, nor will she. Saul. Hadn't heard they were closing, thought they were doing okay. It was a time for new endings, I think. Strange they should have weathered the lean years that hit the walls as things were getting better. Well, new endings as well as bloom for You may not be able to make a new ending. Should this situation, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. I really wanted to help you, but I can't help you. Basso. Make up an old continuation. Continuo. You may be unfortunate and scream at someone who doesn't scream back. This can be disconcerting. Worse, you'll never know if that person has gone on their way thinking that everything is okay, that everything is normal, that you're normal. You may have fitted perfectly well into their normality. Quote, what I take from this situation is that it's a chemical imbalance. Love, whatever, doesn't really matter, take it for yourself. People who are more capable of us, who need it, will create the conditions to make sure that it happens. Didn't sleep. Watched Paul Pot documentary in anticipation of getting up for the 4:45 a.m. shift. And the wind was terrible. And I like a fool walked in. Imagine I walked in. Behind superbad polymer acrylics, a man who considers himself a fallopian cowboy of North Dublin is transubstantiated into a Gramscian manifesto for a local council election. Nobody was fooled, nor to be fair did he himself see the funny side to it. Indeed, as a strategy to avoid compromise or anything else, it was pretty much wholly unsuccessful. That breeze feeling. Blow over the sea, flow over God, wisp on the waves. Sand, pipes, spit, pick, slit, trip, from agnostic assurances. Anne hated herself for finding intolerable in infants the fact that they were so au fait with reality. Toddlers straddled the welfare state, eyeing its buff envelopes with not 1 ounce of begrudgery. How bizarre that I find talking to murderers and rapists so life-affirming. Actually, no, it makes sense. You can only be a barrister for as long as they pay you, besides low boredom threshold, Teutonic sense of humour. The book helped Alan to regain his hands and feet. Thankfully, within his fantasies, he remained intimidated, and that was just dinky by me. A bane of prigs. Renegades are the least inclined demographic to want to influence or persuade. Doleful, hokum, Nike, toady. His enemies ooze bravura, and their eye for misplaced psychological detail becalmed Anne. Her forfeiture of capital and capital symbols went unheralded. A lot of people expected in these situations, apparently. Flash, Prit. Very impressed with his moth painting. Absolute. Inspired. Me with my childhood fear of moths. It got me. Frail. Love the way he carved the date and his initials into the paintboard as if to fix it down. No fear not there. Marcella, I feel so comfortable in this shithole. I have known all manner of apostasy, and I'd rather not share a bed with Anglo-Irish than, well, die. Begs contempt, obtuse, dull, render, free. Remember I was telling you about Marcella, who was very emotionally closed compared with Alan, and remember how this led to many misunderstandings with her constantly being offended by what she perceived to be his presumptuousness? Jesus, it was a ritornello I could sing along to with my jaw clenched by that stage. Drink had nearly killed me with boredom and had screwed up my teeth. Neither symptom had been anticipated, even if others had. Emotionally, we were snakes. Coy snakes. Coy snakes wound round rungs of a long ladder, ringed round worms. Further reckonings, further diversions, conscience, patience again, tongue checker app. Surrounded by discomfort. Quote, I'm kind of drawn to people who aren't emotionally open, or rather people who don't confuse emotional openness with potential to feel. Unquote. Vastly, purgatories of misplaced aggrandizement. Quote. My quote. Yeah, but what this questionnaire that's so bloody important to you, what it really does, aside from allowing the couple to confuse the hell out of each other, is actually to put the two of them on the same level playing field, as far as openness is concerned. Maybe we misunderestimate what a big thing this is, or maybe I misoverestimate it. It has its advantages, but Jesus, it's hardly living within your emotions, is it? I mean, unquote. Alan. I suppose I first got hooked on the whole afterlife thing, age 7. Sips brandy, scratches crotch. Heavy dumb lovers make harsh demands. Heavy weather, all rain dripping down the cheeks of the two supplicants. Shucks. I guess, Anne, Marcella, that's the reason I wanted to learn not to be jealous. I didn't fall in love with just about anyone. At this point, a warm little flow of a serenity that she couldn't accept trickled down his inside leg. Holy dead, affection, sense. This coffee is turning into a Nerry Croner movie. Hands up. I had enjoyed another year of it. Reminded to pleasure, hands up, gotcha. But somehow, her action, wiser, truer, remembered, somehow, when I thought about it, wiser. A certain quality. I became panicky walking home. Often happened after those meetings, though I isolated the feeling. Never trust a man who wears clothes with things written on them. He wanted to do a deal. His t-shirt said Oklahoma 1956. Nothing happened in Oklahoma in 1956. I know because I went and checked it on Wikipedia afterwards. Apparently they won, apparently they won some football match, according to Lindsay O'Leary, but I'm going to take poetic license on this. Nothing happened in Oklahoma in 1956. Still panicky though. Right. So much for willing myself not to be that again. Quote attributed to bassist Ray Brown, don't play any ideas. Unquote. I can't believe how much that meeting with Anne last November changed everything in my life. Anne or Marcella or Alan or whoever. At this stage it doesn't particularly matter. The growing apart after our brief friendship had led me to narrativize the whole thing. I thought successfully, nice while it lasted. Lacking full affection for the fully dead. Lacking full sense for the fully alive. Lacking death and affection. Dull begs the rain, a trick, cull the fray, frail the begs, losses we've not gone out of our way to incur, lacking sense and death. John, what radio station is it you listen to when they play Henry Cow concerts in the afternoon? What was ultimately the death of Alan, except he's still alive, it's really easy to forget that Shit for Brains is still alive, was that most people overlooked the fact that comedy is a serious business. Indeed, he overlooked it himself for a while. Irony is not the zeitgeist, contrary to popular belief. Pope is not Twickenham's greatest straw, etc., etc. It would have happened too if he joined the army. Probably wouldn't. Reports from rear guard of butt-mincing, bullet-biting endurance. Alan was a friend! Grimaced again, crayon, rainbow in the sky, prurient. Unlike even most cobbled-together autobiographies, Alan's repairs in his column revealed a trundle-along technical velocity, though without any truly personal momentum. Wrought, impeccable. On Monday I had a dark liaison with a thrush. Woo. An old covenant, real ale, Joan of Arc, in West Indies, Peter Hall, egg noodles. On Wednesday I had a multicultural epiphany watching E4, and ever since then I've been exhaling social justice. Oh my very heart's the ICH, or what colour is your theology? Years ago, he tried being in an open relationship for a while. Initially it was a psychological challenge, later just for the sex. Later to give himself an idea that he was punishing her, though unbeknownst to him she was having none of it. Later, when he found that by punishing her he was also punishing himself, and this was a turn-on. Later, when he found that by formulating the reasons for doing this he was wasting valuable time that it might have been better spent, e.g. on punishment, sex, etc., and this wastage turned him on. He couldn't explain that one. Later still, when he became hooked on this inarticulacy, this inability to explain things, later still, when he began to get his words back slowly, and it was she who became hooked on the inarticulacy. That's sexy, yeah? Later, because they were both basically frogs in boiling water by that stage, later when they went all blistery, later when they healed, later when they figured, well, what the hell, all of it, this couldn't really make the sex any weirder, later when they were in for a penny, later in for a pound, later when they realised they were, and really, by that stage, asylum, memory, wonder what will happen if I take a few of these, blah, plug. You don't need me to tell you that I'm not the real victim here. The next bit is not in the order in which it happened, okay? Dolly Mount. Sligo. I love spending time with Mary. Among the interesting facts to come out of this afternoon's chat were that when her father, my grandfather, died in 1965, she was not allowed to attend his burial. She had to remain in the church after the funeral. The strangest thing, for me anyway, is she doesn't know why. Her, the intellectually inquiring type, winner of the Roscommon County Scholarship when she was a kid in the 1930s. No idea at all. Frail. Begs. Apparently she was born in the Rotunda. Imagine that. My aunt's a Dubliner. And a Northsider to boot. Sligo. Diamond. Something about Clontarf. Here. Disenfranchised bereavement. Judith Butler's Ungrievable. Collects little droplets of rage on her lumpy back, allows them to dribble down to her mouth, sustaining her in a time of no weaning. Anything is better than that, better than nothing. Not convinced? You have to call the pigeons again, huh? And cuckoo to you, Brian Rue, okay. Broken heart, complications and determinants. Bing! You've just hit the jackpot of the inventory of prolonged grief. Ever saw it coming? Dull begs, no matter where, render. Absolute, inspire, smile, obtuse, frown, modo, quote, no smile, begs dog, begs.